More than 600 years ago, a teenage girl led thousands of soldiers into battle. She could not read. She could not write. She was only 17. Hello, my friends. Welcome back. And I hope you are having a peaceful day. Today I want to tell you a true story full of faith, courage, and betrayal. Can you imagine hearing voices that no one else can hear? Can you imagine leading an army before you were even grown? This village girl did all of this. Her name was Joan of Arc. If you enjoy learning English through stories like this, please like this video and subscribe to Epic Story English. Joan was born around the year 1412 in a small village called Domrémy. It was a quiet place in the east of France. There were green fields. There were small houses made of wood and stone. There was a little church with a bell. And there was a girl named Joan. Her family was not rich. They were farmers. They grew food. They kept animals. Joan's father worked hard in the fields. Her mother taught her to pray, to sew, and to be kind. Joan was a simple village girl. She could not read. She could not write. In her whole life, she never wrote a single word with her own hand. But Joan was not weak. Her hands were small, but her heart was strong. She helped her family every day. She took care of the sheep. She worked in the garden. And every Sunday, she went to the little church to pray. The people of the village loved her. They said she was good. They said she was honest. They said she was always ready to help. Now, my friends, you must understand something about France at this time. France was not a happy country. For many, many years, France and England had been at war. This long war lasted almost 100 years. English soldiers were in France. They took French towns. They took French land. They burned French houses. Many people were poor. Many people were afraid. Many people had lost their fathers, their brothers, and their sons. And France had a big problem. France had no real king. There was a young prince named Charles. He should have been the king, but he was weak. He was not yet crowned. The enemy was strong, and the prince did almost nothing. The people of France waited. They hoped. They prayed for someone to save them. But who could save France? An army? A great general? A rich and powerful man? No, nobody believed that France could be saved. The situation looked hopeless. The English were winning. The French were losing. And in a small village far away, a young girl was watching sheep in a field. She had no money. She had no power. She had no education. She was just a poor girl from Domrémy. Nobody knew her name. Nobody knew her face. Nobody imagined that this quiet girl would one day put on armor and lead soldiers into battle. Nobody imagined that she would change the history of France forever. But that is exactly what happened. Quick question, my friends. Do you believe that one ordinary person can change the whole world? Comment 1 if you say yes. Comment 0 if you say no. I would love to read your answer. It began on a summer day when Joan was only 13 years old. She was alone in her father's garden. The day was warm. The air was quiet. And then she heard something. She heard a voice. It was not the voice of her mother. It was not the voice of a friend. It came from somewhere she could not see. At first, Joan was afraid. She did not understand. Who was speaking to her? Why could no one else hear it? But the voice was gentle. It was kind. It told her to be good. It told her to go to church. It told her to pray. Joan listened, and slowly, her fear began to change into something else. It changed into wonder. The voices came again, and again, and again. Joan believed they were the voices of saints sent from heaven. She believed she heard St. Michael. She believed she heard St. Catherine and St. Margaret. For a long time, she told no one. This was her secret. How could she explain it? Who would believe a poor village girl? But the voices did not stay quiet. As the years passed, they began to ask for something much bigger. They did not only tell her to be good. They told her to save France. They told her to drive out the English soldiers. They told her to find the young prince, Charles, and help her become the true king. Imagine that, my friends. Imagine being a teenage girl. You cannot read. You cannot write. You have never left your small village. You have never seen a battle. You have never held a sword. And a voice from heaven tells you to save an entire country. Joan was frightened. She was just a girl. She had no army. She had no money. She had no power. How could she do such a thing? I am only a poor girl, she said. I did not know how to ride a horse or lead soldiers. But the voices did not stop. They were patient. They were strong. And little by little, they filled her heart with a new feeling. That feeling was courage. Joan made a decision. It was the most dangerous decision of her young life. She decided to obey the voices. She decided to leave her home. She decided to leave her family, her village, and her quiet life with the sheep. She would travel across a country at war to find a prince who did not know her name. Her parents did not understand. Her father was angry and afraid. The road was full of enemy soldiers. A young girl traveling alone could be hurt, or worse. But Joan had made up her mind. The voices were calling, and nothing in the world could stop her now. So Joan began her journey. First, she went to a nearby town. There she met a powerful man, a captain named Robert. Joan stood before him and said something almost unbelievable. I must go to the prince, she told him. God has sent me to save France. The captain laughed at her. A girl? Save France? He told her to go home. He did not believe a single word. But Joan did not give up. She came back. She came back again. She spoke with calm and quiet strength. She told the captain about the voices. She told him about her mission. And slowly, something strange happened. People began to listen. People began to believe. There was an old story in France. The story said that one day a young girl would come and save the country. Could this be the girl? At last, the captain agreed to help her. He gave her men to travel with. He gave her a horse. To stay safe on the dangerous roads, Joan cut her long hair short. She put on men's clothes. She dressed like a soldier. And so a teenage girl rode out across a country at war to find a prince who could become king. The journey was long and full of danger. Enemy soldiers were everywhere. They traveled at night. They crossed rivers. They passed through forests. For many days they rode, until at last they reached a great castle. Inside that castle was the Prince Charles. This was the moment Joan had dreamed of, but would he even agree to see her? Now, the people in the castle wanted to test this strange girl. They did not believe she was special, so they played a trick on her. The prince took off his fine clothes. He hid himself among the crowd. Another man sat on the throne and pretended to be the prince. They wanted to see if Joan could find the real Charles. Joan walked into the great hall. Hundreds of eyes watched her. The man on the throne looked rich and powerful. But Joan did not stop in front of him. She looked around the room. She walked past the false prince, and she went straight to a quiet man hiding in the crowd. She knelt before him. God bless you, true king of France, she said. The hall went silent. How did she know? How could a poor village girl find the real prince, a man she had never met? Charles was amazed. Maybe, just maybe, this girl was telling the truth. Maybe heaven really had sent her. And for the first time, the prince began to wonder if a miracle was standing right in front of him. And so the impossible began. The prince decided to trust her. He gave Joan a suit of shining armor. He gave her soldiers to follow her. And Joan asked for one more thing. She asked for a flag, a white banner. On it were holy words and the names of God. She did not want a sword to kill. She wanted a banner to give hope. Now Joan rode toward the city of Orléans. Orléans was in terrible danger. For many months, The English army had surrounded the city. The people inside were tired. They were hungry. They were losing hope. If Orléans fell, all of France might fall with it. This was the most important city in the war, and a teenage girl was coming to save it. When Joan arrived, something changed. The French soldiers looked at this young girl in white armor, holding her banner high, and their hearts grew strong again. They had been afraid for so long, but now they felt brave. Joan rode among them. She spoke to them. She told them to believe. She told them that God was with them. She gave them hope. She gave them courage. She gave them a reason to fight. The battle began. It was loud. It was hard. It was bloody. The English soldiers were strong, and they did not want to leave. But Joan was always there at the very front. She did not hide in the back. She did not stay safe. She rode where the fighting was worst, holding her white banner so all the soldiers could see her. Then something terrible happened. An arrow flew through the air and struck Joan. It hit her in the shoulder. She fell. The soldiers were afraid. Their leader was hurt. Was this the end? But Joan was not finished. She pulled out the arrow. She did not run away. She did not cry. She got back on her feet, picked up her banner, and returned to the battle. When the soldiers saw her stand again, their courage came back like fire. The French pushed forward. They fought with all their strength. And the English, who had felt so sure, began to step back. They began to retreat. After many long months, the great siege was breaking. The enemy was leaving. The city was saved. Orléans was free. The news spread across all of France like sunlight after a long, dark night. A poor village girl had done what powerful generals could not do. She had lifted the siege of Orléans. People began to call her by a new name. They called her the Maid of Orléans. And suddenly all of France believed. Maybe France could win this war after all. Maybe a miracle was real. After Orléans, everything changed. Joan was no longer just a village girl. She was a hero. She was a symbol of hope. And she had one more dream, the most important dream of all. She wanted to make Charles the true king of France. But there was a problem. To become the real king, Charles had to be crowned in a special city called Reims. And Reims was deep inside enemy land. Joan did not wait. She told Charles it was time. Town after town, the French army marched forward, and town after town opened its gates. The people came out to greet Joan. They cried. They cheered. They reached out just to touch her. To them, she was a living miracle. At last, they reached Reims. It was a beautiful day. Inside the great cathedral, Charles knelt down. Holy oil was placed on his head. A crown was lifted high. And then he was no longer just a prince. He was King Charles VII of France. Joan stood close by, holding her white banner. Her eyes were full of tears. This was the moment she had been born for. The voices had been right. The mission was complete. A poor girl from Domrémy had made a king. It should have been a happy ending, but it was not. After the coronation, things began to change. The king was safe now. He had his crown, and slowly he needed Joan less and less. The men around him grew jealous of her. They did not like that a young girl had so much power and love from the people. Joan wanted to keep fighting. She wanted to free all of France. But now the king was careful. He was slow. He no longer listened to her the way he had before. Then came the darkest day. Joan was fighting near a town called Compiègne. The battle turned against her. As she tried to protect her soldiers, the enemy pulled her down from her horse. They grabbed her. They captured her. The Maid of Orléans was now a prisoner. And here's the saddest part of all, my friends. Joan was sold. Her enemies, the people loyal to England, paid a great deal of money for her. And the king she had crowned with her own hands, the king she had risked her life for, He did nothing. He sent no army to save her. He paid no money to free her. He simply let her go. The king said nothing. Now Joan was alone, in the hands of people who hated her. They did not want to give her a fair trial. They wanted to destroy her. They called her a witch. They called her a liar. And they began a long and cruel trial to break the girl who had saved France. The trial lasted many weeks. Day after day, powerful men asked Joan hard questions. They wanted her to say that her voices were lies. They wanted her to say she was wrong. They were old. They were educated. They knew the law, and she was a teenage girl who could not read or write. But Joan was not afraid of them. She answered with simple words and a clear heart. Her answers were so wise that even her enemies were surprised. They could not trick her. They could not break her. But the trial was never fair. The result had been decided before it even began. They found her guilty, and they gave her the cruelest punishment of all. Joan was sentenced to die by fire. On a spring morning, in the year 1431, they led Joan into a public square. A crowd had gathered. A tall wooden post stood waiting. Joan was just 19 years old. She was so young. She had given everything for her country. And now her country had abandoned her. She asked for a cross to hold. She spoke the name of God. And she was brave until the very last moment. The fire was lit, and the Maid of Orleans was gone. But, my friends, this is not where the story ends. Because you cannot burn an idea. You cannot burn courage. You cannot burn the memory of a girl who believed. Years after her death, people looked again at her trial. They saw the truth. They saw that it had been unfair. They saw that an innocent girl had been killed. Her name was made clean again, and the people of France never forgot her. They told her story to their children, and their children told it to their children. Then, about 500 years after she died, something amazing happened. The church gave Joan the highest honor of all. She was made a saint. The poor, illiterate shepherd girl from a tiny village became Saint Joan of Arc. Today, she is one of the most loved heroes in all of history. So what can a girl from Domrémy teach us? She showed us that courage does not come from your age. She showed us that you do not need to be rich or powerful or perfect to do great things. You only need to believe and to never give up. And here is something beautiful, my friends. Just like Joan believed in her mission, you are on a mission too. Your mission is to learn English. Every new word you learn is a small act of courage. Every time you keep listening, you are like Joan, refusing to give up. So please, if this story touched your heart, give a like and subscribe to Epic Story English for more true stories. And tell me one thing. Would you have been as brave as Joan? Comment 1 for yes. Comment 0 for no. Until next time, my friends, keep learning, keep listening, and keep believing.